Hi guys, today I am going to talk about basic division. What I find is that most students from year 3 to year 6, they don't know how to do a division properly. Here in Australia, they used to teach long division and short division. But in the recent years, there has been a change, and teachers they don't have to teach long a division anymore. Yeah, at the level we're up to year 6. Now, I think this is a mistake. Um, it is very important for students to be able to do long division and short division as well. So what I'm going to do is to show you how to do both, and I will point out places where students tend to make mistakes. All right. Now let's have a look at the basic of long division. Now let's just come up with a random number. Okay. So um, okay. So this is all random. Okay. Now the idea that long division is really useful at the beginning, and the student should know about it because long division allow the student to see very clearly, and they can see the mistakes that they make. They can backtrack and all that. So let's try. So first we have a look at it. 6 go into 4. We can't do it. Now, this is a good idea to put a 0 in. You can't do it. All right. So 0 time. Because if you put it in like that, the place value will be right. Now, let's see. Okay, so now 6 can't go into 4, so you have 0 time. So the next thing you look at is one place after that. So you go to the next place. Now, together now you have 47. Now 6 go into 47. What do you get? 6 times 6, 36, too small. 7 times 6, 42. So that is closest. So here you have the 7, and the 7 have to go right on top of the 7. There, you see, in the second place. Now 7 times 6 is 42, so we will write 42, and we'll subtract, and we have a 5. All right, now look carefully. The remainder 5 has to be smaller than 6, and that is right. If you get a number smaller than, larger than 6, then it's not right. Okay, so the 6 will move down. Now, look, it has to go down on the same column. It has to be correct like that. So 6 go into 56. All right, so what do we have? A6, 48. 9 times 6, 54, which is the closest. So we have a 9 on the same column. 9 times 6 is 54. So we write 54. Then we subtract. Now, so we have a 2 left over. And now the 2 will go all the way down. Now on the same column, right under it, has to be neat like that. Now, so 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4, 24, too big, so we have 3 times. So 3. 3 times 6 is 18. Then we subtract, and then we get 4. Now, so we have remainder 4. So you can write remainder 4. So basically, that's what long division is all about. This is the simple case. All right, now we will try short division. All right, now with the short division, I'm going to use the same example, but you need a little bit more room. So I would write the number a little bit different. Now, what I'm going to do is I will write the number with the digit a bit far apart. So 4, 7, 6, 2. Now, the reason is because I need a little bit of space in between. All right, now 6 go into 4. I can't do it. So I put a 0 in. Now, the remainder from that, I just cross the 4 out and I put a little 4 here. See, that's the remainder. Now, 6 go into 47. I got 7 times, so I get 7. Now, 7 times 6 is 42. Now, it's all mental. I take 42 away from 47. So I get a 5. So I put a little 5 there. So I cross out the 47. Now, I have 56. So 6 go into 56. I got 9 times. So 9 times 6 is 54. 54. I take 54 away from 56. I get 2. I cross it out. I get a 2. So I got 22 left over. So now we know that we have 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. Take 18 away from 22. I have a 4 left over. So remainder 4. Now, short division is actually harder because of the extra mental component of it. So you have to be able to mentally subtract and remember a little bit more. Okay, so that is the basics. There are situations where students make mistakes. So we'll go into those. Okay, so we're going to divide this and we will use long division first. So 6 go into 2, you can't do it. You put a 0. Now you look for the 2 digit 21. So 6 go into 21, you have 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. You got 18 and you subtract. Now, so you have a 3. Now the 0 come down. Now 6 go into 30, you have 5 times. So 5 times 6 is 30. Now you subtract, you get a 0. Now next, you have the 4 coming down. Now this is when the student make the mistake. Now 6 go into 4, they can't do it. And the mistake they tend to make is they will bring the 5 down straight away, then they do it. No, that is incorrect. Because the 6 go into the 4, you can't do it. You have to have the 0 go in there straight away on the same column. So 6 go into 4, can't do it. You have to put a 0 in. Now the 5 can go down. Now 6 go into 45, you have 7. So 7 times 6 is 42. So you subtract, you get a 3. Now there you have the remainder 3. You see, the mistakes is when the student forget to put the 0 up the top. Now we're going to try this using short division. Now for short division, I would want to write the digit far apart to make room. So 2, 1, 0, 4, 5. And divide by 6 as well. So let's try. So 6 go into 2, you can't do it. All right, so you cross it out and the remainder is 2. So put a little 2 next to the 1. Now we have 21. So 6 go into 21, we have 3 times. So 3 times 6 is 18. Now take 18 away from 21, you have a 3. So you have a little 3. Now I'm going to cross that one out so we can forget about that. Okay, 6 go into 30, you get 5 times. So 5. 5 times 6, 30, you take away. From 30, you get nothing left over. Now, you can write a little 0 here if you want, but you don't have to. Now, 6 go into 4. Can't do it. Now, this is where students make mistake, right? They go straight to counting the next number, 45. No, that's wrong. 6 go into 4, you can't do it. You have to put a 0. That is very important. Now, so 6 go into, now the remainder from that is going to be a little 4 there. So remainder 4. So we put a 4 next to 45. Now 6 go into 45. So you get 7. 7 times 6, 42. Take 42 away from 45. You cross it out. You get the remainder 3, right? Little 3. So you have remainder 3. Right. So this is how the division should be done. So this is short division. And the mistakes tend to happen when the student forget that when they cannot divide into a smaller number, they have to have the 0 put into the right place. Now, the next thing that I am going to talk about is the idea that the student, when they do the division into a decimal number, they don't understand. The teachers don't tell them why they put the dot in and they add a 0 and they will continue. Now, this is a big mistake because if you teach the student to rote learn and memorize how to do it without understanding, the student don't understand. And then later, they don't do very well. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example. Okay, so let's see that we do this thing. So random number again. Okay, so we are going to do long division. Okay, so 5 go into 2, you can't do it. So you put a 0. Now, so the next thing is we look at the 20. 5 go into 20, you get 4 times, so 4. 4 times 520, you put 20 in and you subtract, you get a 0. Now, the 0 will go down. Obviously, 5 can't go into 0, so you need to put a 0 up the top. And then 7 go down. Now 5 go into 7, you get 1 time. 1 times 5 is 5, you put a 5 in, you subtract, then you have 2. All right, now we run out of digit in the dividend. Okay, so what do we do now? Normally, we write remainder 2, but if you divide into decimal, now, most of the time, teachers will just say, oh, you add a 0 here, then you put a dot up there, then you continue. So 5 go into 20. So 4 times, 4 and 20. You subtract, you get a 0 and you are done. Okay, it's correct. But the thing is, the teacher should explain why you put a 0 in there and continue to do it. Now, I think this is a mistake not to explain and then let the student wait until year 7 and year 8 and they work out the thing themselves, or somebody show them, or they read a textbook and find it out. That is just too late. Now, this should be taught straight away at year 4 or year 5. You shouldn't be waiting, that long. All right, so let me explain why this is like that. Okay, so we roll back a bit. Okay, so we'll roll back to that point. Okay, so we have the remainder 2. Now, the remainder 2 here mean 2 units. Okay, now let's look at the place value table. So somewhere we'll have a dot. Okay, so that place is called the unit. Okay, so we're going to write the number 2007 in. So here we have 7, 0, 0, 2. Now, and then the place on the right of the dot is the tens. and the place after that is the 100. Okay. So in the division, we have got to the side, we have 2 units left over. So I'm going to write number 2 down here, 2 units left over. Now, the reason why we put a 0 in, because you take 2 units, you change to 20 tenths. Because of one place to the right, so 1 unit can change to 10 tenths. So we got 2 units, so we change to 20 tenths. So we put a 0 in, we actually change 2 units into 20 tenths. And that means the division get to the tenths. And that's why you put a dot in, and the next position here is called the tenths, right? So now 5 go into 20 tenths. What you get is 4 times. Now 4 times with 5 give you 20 tenths there. Then you put 20 tenths in, and then you subtract and you continue. So that is a reason. Every time you get to the remainder, if you want to go on and divide into decimal, you convert the unit into tenths. And if you have leftover, you convert further into 100. Okay? So let's look at another example. Okay, so now we have 2007, 2. Now we want to divide it by, let's say, 6. Now 6 going to 2, we can't do it. We put a 0 in. Now 6 going to 20, 3 times 6 is 18. We have 18, we subtract, we have 2 left over. Now the 0 come down, we have 3 times again, 3 times 6 is 18, we subtract, we get 2 come down. Now 7 come down. So we have 4 times. 4 times 6 is 24, we get 24, we subtract, then we have a 3. Now at that time, you got a 2 coming down. There we go. Now 6 go to 32, you have 5 times. Now 5 times 6 is 30. So 30, you subtract and you get 2. Okay, now at this point, you divide into decimal. So you convert the 2 unit into 20 tenths. So you add a 0, then you have to add a dot. And now we go to the position tenths. So 6 go to 20 tenths, you got 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. You subtract and you get a 2. All right, so the 2 there is actually 2 tenths. Now, you don't need to do any more adding any dot because you already have it. So the next position is going to be the hundredths. See that? So the 100. So that's okay. Now, if you add another 0 there, you convert the 2 tenths into 20 hundredths. And 6 go into the 20 hundred there. You have another 3 times. So 3 times 6 is 18, and you put it back in and you subtract. And if you keep on going on, you end up with the same pattern. And you will end up with the 3 in the 1,000 place and the 3 in the 10,000 place, and so on and so on. So the logic of it is that you add a 0 in. That means you convert the number to the next place value on the right hand side, and you continue to go on with it. Now guys, so that explains a fair bit of the basic division. Now I also noticed that sometimes the parents or the tutor or even some teachers teach a student to do in a weird way. Well, instead of teaching the student the normal way, where you have something like this, and then you have your dividend. So dividend. And then you have your divisor, this side, then you have your quotient. Now, they teach their kid, or maybe some teacher, decide to do something crazy, teach the kid in a different way, the French way, or the Indian way, or in some weird way. Now, this is not a good idea because the children need to learn the way we do here in Australia, which is the same in the US and the same in the UK, because they need to be able to communicate with students and teachers, and you don't want to confuse them. Now, once they master the normal way, the standard way that we do here in Australia, then you can be creative and show them the different ways. Okay? So it's crazy to teach the children a different way that people don't really use in Australia. You have to teach the way that standard here in Australia, and get the student to become very good at it before you can try anything. Now, once they are good at it, then they can try different way. You can show the different ways. As long as they know the logic, they know the principle, and they can apply it. Okay, so I'll show you another way. And I reckon that the French and the colony of the French do that. Okay, so they put the dividend this way. So they put the dividend on that side, and they put the divisor here. And they put the quotient here. Okay, so we'll try that way. So the dividend to 0.007, for example. And here we put the divisor on that, so we divide by 6, something like that. Okay, so now we have, so what time with 6 give you 2? No, you can't do it. You put a 0 in, and then 20, so got 3. 3 times 6 is 18, so you write 18, and then subtract get 2. And then you can have 3 times 6 and 18, and you have 2 left over. And then you have a 7 coming down, and then you have 4. 4 times 6, 24, and you have the 3 left over. So you have the remainder 3. So it's okay. Now, if you want to do that, you can do that. But after you have taught the student to do the standard Australian way, then you can do that. Okay, now you can be creative. Now, once the student really understand, you can create new way to do it, and show the student and get them to be creative and do it in any other way that they can think of. They can create new way. Now, that will be really useful because it helps the student to understand deeper. All right, so well, let me just invent a new way, okay? And see what happened. So I'm going to try something like a triangle. I have never done this before, but I'm going to do it and see what happened. And I'm going to put the dividend here, and I will put the divisor here, and I'll put the answer, which is the quotient here, and see what happened. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to put in the dividend to 0.007, and the divisor, I just put a 6 here. Okay, so 6 go into 2, I can't do it. I put a 0. Now, so 6 go into 20, I got 3 times, so 3 times 6 is 18. So subtract, I get 2, 0 go down, 3 times 6 is 18, subtract, I get 2 go down, and 7 go down. So now I get 4, so 4 times 6 is 24, and subtract, I get a 3. So I got the remainder 3. Okay. Now, you can be creative as much as you like after the standard way has been taught and the student can do it well. Then you can encourage the student to do it in any way. They can think of any other creative way to organize the numbers. That is fine. They know the principle. They know how it works. The more different way that they create to do the job, the deeper the understanding will be. So you need to have the license to be creative. Okay? So creativity comes with a license. Now, achieving perfect division in the standard way that everybody do give the student the license to be creative, and then they can create anything they want. Same thing for the teachers. If the teachers have taught the student the standard way and the student masters everything, then the teacher has the license to be creative and just create crazy random way, other way to show the student that as long as they know the logic, everything will be fine. So be creative only after the student know how to do it the standard way.